Okay, so the application itself, right? We have the home page. These are all. This is the main navigation bar that's there the whole way through. This is going to be how we control the application for moving from one section to the other, and then the search for function allows you to search for different ingredients, different cuisines, etc. So if you want to then add something to the shopping list, this is an important feature that we have locked off to just to people who've to authenticated users. So, for example, I would have to then sign up. Uh, so Kevin at chefcloud.com and my password put in there. So this is going to be me logging in. So yeah, there's my Chef Cloud name coming up through the application. It recognizes me. And yeah, there you can add your carrots, your chicken, like depending. You can search on ingredients to sort by ingredients, alphabetical size them. Sorry. So you can find whatever ingredients you're looking for there, and then the type as well. You can alphabetical size that as well, so you can have all your dairy together, your grains and potatoes, etc. So whenever we start adding things to the cupboard, this is the cupboard here, and the ingredients will get added in. And again, you can add in as many ingredients as you want. Just from the shopping list, it's quite easy to add in whatever. So let's see, maybe get some chicken in there, and yeah, and then all you need to do then is to find the recipes. Is click the button, find recipes, and it brings you then to the recipes section of the application. So here then is an example of the recipes that are currently here. We have them laid out in a nice fashion to show you exactly what there is there. And although there's only a few recipes have been added so far, there'll be more then to go in. It gives you the name of the recipe, quite a nice graphic, which I found in my research was very important to make sure that people wanted to engage with the application was to have a have good graphics that were enticing and really captured the user's imagination. You have ratings here, and then just a wee brief introduction, the time taken to cook, the dinner type. So if it's a Thai, Indian, Irish, Italian, whatever it is, it'll be there, and then the meal type, the dinner. And then if you want to learn a bit more about the recipe and where the ingredients for cooking it, then there's your instructions there, and you just can take that and cook away. So yeah, it really was quite a fun application to build. Um, the search function is extremely interesting. So I can search for, say, chicken, and I'll pull back all the chicken dishes from the recipe book, or else I could search by Irish. So this is looking for the cuisines. So it's finding all the cuisines that would match that sort of cuisine type. Then you could say, "Oh, I'm in the mood for something nice for dinner." You can search dinner, and it would show you the dinner types. So again, the search was quite a useful feature. I think the one search bar, whatever you're looking for, you can just get it in, and it'll really narrow down the recipes that are available. And whenever there's quite a few recipes, I'd say it'll definitely grow in importance of it. So then, yeah, moving quickly into the code, the recipe. The application's laid out like this, so it comes built like this whenever you bring it in. And what you need to do then is like you're just looking at your application here. So these are the controllers. So this is part of the MVC framework. All the controllers for the application, all the models for the application, the views, and then all the views for the application. So your models is the database. This here is the view for the recipes. So you can see here some of the interesting stuff. Like this recipes each do recipe is a for loop for in Ruby where for every recipe inside the recipes, it does this, which is then it displays. So it's embedding the Ruby into the HTML. So it's going to display the recipe title, the ratings, and then the descriptions. Like so, this is linking then directly to this recipes page, showing each recipe. So for each recipe in the database, it's showing the name, the rating, the picture, and then the picture itself is a link to the recipe. The recipes controller, again, is quite an interesting piece. So this is where your search function comes in, taking the params, and by bringing the params in like this as a string or a substring, it really increases the security of the application because the it prevents SQL injections where somebody could put something into the search bar and pull out all the code, the whole database. Instead of being able to do that, this protects it because you control then what's passed in as the string. Um, and this is all created for you whenever you're using Ruby on Rails through the scaffolding feature. So I would have just typed in here, Rails generate scaffold recipe, and then set whatever the main parts of the application for the recipe were going to be. So you're going to have then your title, your description, your cuisine, media URL. So these are the parameters for the recipes. Um, yeah, and then the routes file is probably one of the most important files. This is the directions that are taken. So whenever I type in here, I'm currently on get recipes. So you can see here it's the recipes, and it's using the get function to display everything on the recipes from the static pages recipes. So it's really um, quite a dynamic framework to use. Very, as I say, very easy to understand, very quick to pick up, and it really does just lead to a whole new level of dynamic building, and really helps somebody who's learning to really gain a lot of functionality quite quickly on. Um, and then, yeah, so a few of the other things I just wanted to touch on briefly, like by including code like this here before action authenticate user, this is the this is the the part that prevents people who are not authenticated users who are not signed in from signing in. So yeah, very useful thing to have. Helps protect your code. Another one that we have here is that only admin users are able to see the new recipes. And that's just that are able to create new recipes and able to edit and destroy. So like that's just common sense that like you don't want anybody there putting anything onto your website. You want to control that yourself. So that's linked only to admin accounts. Um, and then yeah, I think that's some of the stuff. And then this is a partial. So these underscores is a partial. So then you can see that that it's called in a separate place, the partial for that. Yeah, the partial for that is called in the layout section. The application, so you can see here, it's the renders, the layout search. So this keeps the code simple and makes sure that everything is specialized in the places where it actually needs to be covered, rather than just stuff putting in and crowding out your code. So you can see here we've also got the header as a partial where the different navigation bars are laid out. Again, it's quite a good feature of Ruby that prevents that maintains that dry, don't repeat yourself. So yeah, that's a lot of the application. And yeah, thanks very much for following on with that.